All right. Well, welcome everyone to our Family Fridays. This week's topic is going to be dining. Now, I know that we still have quite a few people still joining us, but in order for us to have time for all of the information shared and time for questions and answers, we're going to go ahead and get started. So today joining us is Rachel Smith. She's part of our auxiliary services. She'll be in the background answering hopefully a good bit of the questions that you have, while our executive director, Adam Poling, will be delivering that information. So I'm going to turn the show off to them. And again, at the end of this, even if we don't have time for all of the answers to your questions, we will be posting this on YouTube next week, probably Tuesday, if not Wednesday at the latest. So stay tuned for that as well. So I'll turn it over to you, Adam.
Thank you, Josie. I certainly appreciate it. I hope everyone can see my screen. Thanks, Rachel. No, that's good. And I appreciate that introduction, and it's great to be here, a part of the William & Mary family. And I certainly appreciate all the work that Rachel and the auxiliary services team's done thus far. We took over July 1st and are excited to be here on campus, and we're going to walk through our presentation of the upcoming year as it relates to dining. As there's time, please, as questions come up and time allows, we'll answer that. Rachel will answer that through the chat, and if we see some themes and some topics, we can stop and talk a little bit more about those items. And then certainly at the end, there's a time for Q&A, as Josie had mentioned, but we'll also have an email that you can contact us directly if you've got maybe some specific questions about your student and their needs. So without delaying anymore, we'll move forward with the presentation. As I mentioned, Rachel is with the auxiliary services team, and that's the division that dining reports through. Auxiliary services also has a number of other divisions within it, from tribe card services, parking and transportation, to the spirit shop and the bookstore. So that's part of our William & Mary family here on campus. Oh, my apologies. I clicked a little too far. There we go. Meeting the team. Well, you've had the chance to meet me as the executive director. I've been in higher education from a hospitality standpoint for 10 plus years. Overall, with luxury hotels and in hospitality for 20 plus years. Servicing communities like this has been a passion of mine for quite some time. Our director of operations is Joanne Havlin. Joanne's been most recently, before this, at Old Dominion University, and prior to that ran food services in the Navy, and was awarded a top performer from the National Restaurant Association during her time there in the military. So as we move forward, as we talk about our program and what we're doing for the fall semester, and really moving forward for your student's career here at William & Mary, how do we fuel their mind? It's not just about great techniques from a culinary standpoint. It begins at the source. So only the best, right? Fresh, sustainable, local, organic. And we start there. We're going to certainly talk about that as I get into the dining hall programs, if you will. But one of the partners that we specifically like to highlight that we work primarily with is 4Ps. They source local, organic produce, all the way down to the chicken that we provide from Farmer Focus, which is headquartered in Shenandoah Valley, so just north of us here in Virginia. Local, organic, and halal certified chicken. And that's our chicken in both dining halls. Our tools to thrive. Certainly, as we go through that, we've implemented standardized menus, recipes through our iPad and our Enable program with our employees behind the scenes. That also allows them to follow that. And in real time, if there's any updates or changes, that's reflected on the website, reflected on the menu boards, reflected in the real-time data that students receive, and allows for that menu transparency. So what are all those ingredients in the item that's in front of them? They can look on their phone, they can look on the screen, they can certainly talk to one of our culinarians. It's all for you. And that's where Tony comes in again, talking about guest satisfaction, student satisfaction, campus community, really us focusing on that as a high priority. making sure that we're connected to students on campus and that we're receiving that feedback in real time and then processing it so we can implement it. This dining program that we've put together for the fall semester was with student feedback, was with auxiliary services, was with other departments, but we're going to continue to evolve that through ongoing dialogue and conversations with the campus community and specifically those students. All access plans, certainly when first year students come on board, we want them to have their meal their way. And that's going to be capable at the food hall at Sadler and Commons Dining Hall, our two large residential programs that we have here, unlimited swipes into those with a number of offerings. And I'll show you some renderings and refresh pictures of those halls that are coming up. Certainly understanding the need, given the academics here, and certainly what's going on in your student's life, not only can you come in and swipe in as many times as you like into those two facilities, you can also get something to go. There's to-go containers, the green reusable ones that will be made available to all students, especially those first year students. And we'll continue that type of focus on speed of service with our Grubhub partnership. You'll see that in Chick-fil-A, you'll see that in Marketplace, you'll see that around campus, so that you can join the line early. You know when you're headed over there, it'll be ready when you pick it up. It'll allow students to plan and navigate better, and it's natural for them. You know, when you see the mobile apps around dieting across the country, not just at higher ed, it's certainly a convenience we wanted to bring to William & Mary. Then we talked about those swipes a little bit at food hall and at the food hall and at Commons. Certainly dining dollars that can be used at all kinds of our retail places on campus, including Domino's and the bake shop here downtown. Drips and Sips, each all access meal plan has access to that. So while they're going around campus, if they just want a drip coffee, just a fountain soda, something to keep them going, with that all access plan, they can stop into either dining hall, the Marketplace, Integrated Science Cafe, Bowley Cafe over at Business, or the deli over at Law. All of those they'll have access to with that program that comes with your all access plan. Stepping into Commons right now, that top left-hand picture, Root, vegan, vegetarian focused station. Certainly not limited to that station, but overall, that's something that's highlighted within that station for that demographic and for students that are looking for that specific type of menu. As you shift to the right, True Balance, a station dedicated to serving food void of the top 9 allergens. Those individuals receive additional training on top of our food safety training that all employees get. So they're at a next level as it relates to being able to service the students, specifically with those dietary needs and restrictions. World Kitchen, obviously we're gonna have a very differing demographic here on campus. We wanna highlight some of those flavors and fun things from around the world, bring that variety here onto campus. And then Piazza, pizza and pasta, refresh that's going in the Commons Dining Hall. Feature some favorites, certainly. As you step into Sadler's Food Hall, the salad bar there to the left, that top left picture, that's immediately when you walk into Sadler to your left, that gets the refresh. We have almost doubled the number of toppings, fresh fruit, vegetables, items that will be in that salad bar. That'll be available on a regular basis. Certainly want to highlight that local produce that's coming from 4Ps, that's coming from Virginia, that's coming from North Carolina, that's coming from this area, and really take advantage of that amount of space that we have in Sadler. Pretoria, the Italian kitchen, pizza and pasta, favorites every day, and including some specialties that'll rotate daily, including between lunch and dinner. You can see sweet pickles there, our deli station. You can get that hot, you can get it cold, you can get a panini press. Again, however you like that or your student likes that, we can support that. And in a separate location, again, True Balance within the Sadler Food Hall, that station void of the top 9 allergens across the board, so that those that are looking for that style of menu, we have it available for them. Talking about hours of operation, we've done a lot of work with auxiliary services and with the campus community in leading up to this. Both dining halls are open continuously, 7 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week. That doesn't mean at 8 o'clock we shut down everything except for the grill station. That means it's a full menu up until midnight, 7 days a week. So those that are early morning risers that either have commitments to themselves or to sports teams or groups or auxiliaries can have accessibility throughout the entire day of a full menu. Same at night, late night study groups. If you want to grab a to-go box and head over to the library, that option is there. As you move through, you'll see some of the C stores like Trident Market and the Exchange, certainly their hours of operation. Lodge One at Sadler Center is a coffee sandwich shop. Town Center Cold Press is a local partner that'll be going in there. Chick-fil-A's hours, obviously 11 to 8, but not on Sunday. And then Swem Library, some varying hours there to best accommodate the needs within the library. And that's going to be our local partner, Column 15, from a local alumni-owned coffee roastery. I would suggest having some nitro cold brew from them. It is fantastic, but don't have more than one. So just know that it's high in caffeine. It is fantastic. Integrated science, the law, we talked about. Boley's kind of got 2 units in that one area with the cafe that's got varying hours throughout the 7 days. And then the grill that's open for lunch Monday through Thursday. As I mentioned earlier with when I introduced Tony and talked about our marketing manager, ways that we want individuals, campus community, students, parents, families to connect with us. Golden Apron. Our supervisors, dedicated service professionals, will be identifiable by having a gold apron on in addition to their uniform. They'll be recognizable. They'll be well versed in how to handle some questions about where to go for dietary needs, where to go for hours of operation. My meal plan swipes don't seem to be working. Did I run out of dining dollars? How do I give feedback because last week's lasagna was so good I want to see it again? Those are the types of things they can handle. Anything above and beyond, if they can't answer it immediately, they've been trained on where to go to get that and where to direct that student for additional support. Voice of the customer. We post the QR codes, we do surveys, we reach out on an ongoing basis. It's available at any time for feedback from anyone, but especially students. We get that on a dashboard so that we can see how today's lunch went, how this week's going, how this month went, how the semester went. We can see real-time trends, we can track that. We can then bring back favorites, or we can eliminate things that weren't as popular as we'd liked or thought. But for me, I often say to our team, like, that's where we need to be directly engaged with our students because that's the demographic we're taking care of. And I am no longer in that demographic. Text concierge, students will have access to a specific local number where if they've got a question that they don't want to approach someone about, something simple, something quick, they need support on something. Where do I find the dietitian? Where do I find the wellness manager? Hey, you are going to have a chef demo tonight. Is that in Sadler or Commons? Those type of questions can come in via the text concierge, and that will be sharing that with students in the days to come. And on our end, we receive that via an app to the senior leadership, myself, Joanne, who you met, Tony, Chef, so we can answer those in real time. Past experience. Average response time to that text concierge is under 3 minutes. Parents, family, guardians from this presentation at any time moving forward, if you have specific questions, specific needs, anything that we can assist with, there's the dining email, dining@wm.edu. That comes into the senior leadership team, and we review those and respond as quickly as possible. And then our annual surveys. So kind of the big broad stroke. How have we done? What do you want to see next? Those will go out to all the students and we'll encourage those to take that. We'll do a big marketing push around that. For us, gathering as much information as possible will be key to evolving the program forward. We discussed certainly our wellness and nutrition partners here a few times, but I want to recognize Kelly Wood as our regional dietitian, and then our health and wellness manager, Becky Vick, who's here on the ground with us. Becky and Kelly have been working together for some time now, making sure that students have everything that they need, have access to folks immediately. We've begun consultations already, even before some have arrived to campus, and we'll continue to do that. Their information's there if you'd like to reach out directly to them or have needs as it relates to special diets or items here at William & Mary. I'm happy to support in that realm, but Becky and Kelly have been working in hand with auxiliary services, with student affairs, and with William & Mary as a whole to make sure that we've got everything taken care of for students when they return. There's a QR code to where you can view those locations and hours of operations and eventually menus when they go live. Along, if you want to contact us with any questions or needs, we ask you follow us on social media if you can, and our website. We'll certainly be active in posting things as I know Tony's been doing with the addition of Grubhub, with our local partners coming on board. Not just 4Ps, but Column 15, Town Center Cold Press. Right now, we're finalizing some partnerships with local food trucks that'll come on campus. They'll hit certain areas for lunch, late nights, weekends, and sporting events. We've been meeting with student orgs and student leadership, as well as student affairs and auxiliary services on a regular basis, making sure that we are best preparing this dining program for the fall return of students and your first year students. Are there any questions that I can answer for the group, or that Rachel, or that you have for me that have popped up in the chat?
Thank you, Adam, for sharing so much information. And for those folks who are new to some of these webinars, we have a lovely Q&A at the very bottom of your screen. You can type in your questions there, and either we can try and type the answer to you while we're answering others. And if we don't get to everyone, you can submit them to any of those different communication portals that Adam shared. We have one very important question. It was at the very top of our hour. Will there be soft serve ice cream in the dining hall?
Soft serve ice cream in the dining hall. Right now, we do have ice cream in both dining halls. I know that we were putting in a new soft serve in one and the scoop in the other, and I don't know off the top of my head which one's in which, but both dining halls will have ice cream. Absolutely. And I think later on next week, we've got a small tasting of a new plant-based ice cream that we're bringing to campus as well, non-dairy, Eclipse, and it's got 4 flavors that we're bringing there. So making sure that ice cream's available for everyone, even those with some dairy and some other restrictions. So yes, with an asterisk of I need to check which one has the soft serve.
Thank you. We've got another one talking about the changing in our dining service company. And can you speak to a little bit about sharing any of the details that we went from one provider to now Aramark, that we stopped with Sodexo and went to Aramark? Can you speak to any of that to just share just an overview?
I can provide some broad strokes. I'm with Aramark and have been for most of my higher ed career. I've been a few other places, not with the previous provider, but have been with Aramark. My Aramark experience was with James Madison University, so just north of here. During my time there, I think we had reached number 2 on Princeton's review of best food on a college campus. And I think recently, within the last week or two, I know it was Princeton Review was another ranking, they got up to number 2. They've been in the top 10 for like 20 years. So very proud of my time there and certainly the program. Aramark's been on the ground operating the dining program here since July 1. Auxiliary services and the university led an RFP. It led led a very rigorous campaign for bids for this program, and there were several companies that bid. And I do know parents and students were involved in that RFP process down to the committee that we made presentations to. I can certainly say the students at that committee meeting, at that presentation, had some great, tough, but great questions. And through that process, the university made their selection based on a variety of criteria. And we're very excited that it was us and that we're here now. So I can't speak to too much on who else and how many others. I was fortunate enough that we were one of them and were selected. So I think they were nearing the end of the contract term. I don't know the specifics of their term, but we're happy to be here. We're excited to be here. We've got 10 to 15 years here with you, and we're gonna make the very best of it. Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that, Adam. I have another really good one, freshman base here. Will the dining halls be open during freshman move-in and orientation?
So the 24th, we come back for orientation for that move-in. I know there's events here. There's some programming scheduled during orientation. Those meals will be in the dining halls beginning the 24th and throughout. Will continue throughout the semester at that point. But right now we are actually looking at next Monday beginning to phase in some of the retail options as well as some of our local partners as they move in to their locations on campus.
Awesome. I've got a question for you, Adam. Can you talk a little bit about dining dollars, how those work and where they can be used?
So dining dollars on your meal plan, you've got a certain allotment of dining dollars. When you go to a retail location, it's a la carte, if you will. So if you're buying a bottle of water or a aluminum bottle of water from the exchange or from Tribe Market, you're going to use your dining dollars there. When you're at the dining halls, you'll use those swipes. So think of it as two different buckets of money. One's available, like the swipes are available at the dining halls, Sadler Food Hall, Commons Dining Hall. And then those dining dollars are when you go to Chick-fil-A, when you go Town Center Cold Press and you buy that coffee, when you're over at Column 15 and you get the nitro, when you're headed over to Integrated Science and you need a bag of chips or a granola bar. Those are where you're going to use that dining dollars to supplement you in between your visits to the dining halls. I would recommend the brownies down at the bake shop. They are very good.
And I think there was an add-on to that question. Is there a minimum on your card that you need to have? I think it comes with, I think it's 400. Do you know, Adam?
I have to double check that, Josie, off the top of my head to see how much is in there. Rachel?
Yes, so I believe the lowest amount, the all access dining dollars start at 400 with what comes with your all access plan, and then other plans have varying amount of dining dollars. The one that these plans do not come with is William & Mary Express. That's a separate fund that can be used across campus and off campus for a variety of different things. So William & Mary Express, you would need to load those funds on, and you can do that online. You can do that in person at our Tribe Card Services office while you and your student are here for orientation and move-in. And those could be used at locations off campus like CVS, Panera Bread, Walgreens, and a variety of other locations, as well as being used for laundry, printing services, and things like that. So those are separate from dining dollars, but there is a certain amount of dining dollars that comes with your student's meal plan.
No, I appreciate that. And thank you for bringing up William & Mary Express, as it's a separate bucket of money, but it's still on the same card.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes for a convenient use for the student, but certainly good for the parents to know so they can load that for them if needed.
Got a couple here regarding food literally in the dining halls. Do the dining hall have a list of ingredients for those with food allergens? And will there be seafood options in your dining hall for those who do not take meat?
Yes to both of those. Yes, there'll be seafood options. That'll be part of the menu rotation. And as we get closer to that 24th date, you'll be able to see that live on the website, on the menu site. We also see that in the facility. So that menu transparency, you'll be able to see all the ingredients that are compose a dish. Anything that's been used in that dish, you'll be able to see that, ask for that. That'll be available both online, whether that's on your desktop, on your phone, but absolutely when you go into that station, those menu boards will have that available for you. So that menu transparency is available for those with special dietary needs. And I'd always encourage anyone with that to meet us, let us answer your questions and make sure that no one's making any assumptions one way or the other. And we can ensure everyone's safety and we get to know you. So I know one thing our chef likes to do is ask what do you like to have, especially for those with specific restrictions. You know, as they're developing menus for the future, that's things that they can keep in mind. They can gear it towards what they know students are enjoying or asking for.
Thank you, Adam. We have one here wondering if we will have any dining halls open during summer and winter break for students who remain on campus.
During summer and winter break, there are facilities open, depending on when we work with the university, when we work with Rachel and auxiliary services, when we work with student affairs, we make a determination on how many students are staying on campus and what the needs are. This summer, since we took over on July 1, Commons has been open as a dining hall continuously all summer. So we'll continue to make sure that any students that are staying on campus have access to food, the right food, nutritious food, and are well supported in that program. So we will work on that based on the number of students that are here. So whether that's Sadler, whether that's Commons, if it's Marketplace, again, absolutely they'll have access to food throughout the year.
Rachel, I'm not sure if you've seen, there are quite a bit of Dining Dollar questions. And I'm not sure if you have time to answer a few of them or not. There, a good bit of them are quite specific, or is there a good place for parents to actually find this information?
Yes, if you go to wm.edu/meal plans, there's a wide variety of information about everything meal plan. So all of the information about the all access meal plan. There's also a page all about dining dollars, how many come with your student's meal plan, depending on their academic year. And depending on which plan they choose, if they have a choice, freshmen and sophomores are automatically enrolled in our all access plan. But there's also information on what happens if my student runs out of dining dollars at a point during the semester, and can those be reloaded as well. So definitely check out our website for more information.
Thank you, Rachel. Still reviewing, we have quite a bit of questions that have come in. A lot of them are similar topics that we're trying to pull. A lot of them that a lot of you guys have the same kind of questions. There's a quick, easy one though. Are there water stations to fill reusable water bottles around campus? Yes, there are. I have not been in a building yet that didn't have one nearby, or with definitely just inside of it. I have two on the floor that I'm located at. It's very popular, so it's hard not to find a water filling station.
No, and we've added some portable water filling stations for our larger events outside. We've got one on campus and some more ordered. So even for those outdoor events, even when students are outside, for the large events we have coming up for the welcome back and for orientation, we'll actually have those outside the building as well. So looking to expand upon that even more.
I've got one here. Is there a place on campus to buy groceries with your dining dollars?
With dining dollars, there's a convenience store in Sadler, and we're working on enhancing the offerings there. It's a little bit more limited over at Tribe Market at Commons, but with the new program, you're also able to buy some tokens that you can exchange at the farmers market on Saturdays as well.
Are there vegetarian options other than the salad bar?
Yes, there's a station dedicated to the vegan and vegetarians on campus at Commons. It's called Root. We also work with our culinarians from a plant-based, plant-forward programming approach. So one of the things that we did this year from a culinary standpoint is enhance both those from an overall menu standpoint, not just at that station, but we also added some carving stations as well. So as much as we're trying to bring that plant forward front and center on the plate, so to speak, we're also not taking proteins and whole muscle meat away from those who look for that. So expanding the options on campus for students overall was a goal of ours.
Thank you, Adam. I have something about the menus. Will the menu and bars be the same for lunch and dinner, or will there be new options, and will breakfast be available all day? And what time will it change to lunch? A lot of stuff in that question.
Well, I can say during this process, I did spend the semester observing. So I've been on campus since January, and I understand that question about will lunch and dinner options be the same? They will not be the same. We will rotate menus between lunch and dinner. So that'll continue to update. And as you see throughout the dining halls, both places, you're going to have some consistent items like cheese pizza, pepperoni pizza, and then there's specialties that'll rotate. Pasta station will have a red sauce, have a white, and then those consistent items as well as some variety as well. So you'll see it change between lunch and dinner. We do have some breakfast options that'll be available throughout the day. We do have I think the omelet station running through lunch before it switches at dinner. So there's items that will be available throughout. And that's something that we'll work with Tony and the marketing team, and then collaborate with student assembly, work with auxiliary services. And if there's more breakfast items that are requested to be available throughout the day, then we make that change, we make that update. But that's where gathering that information and being engaged with students on a regular basis, on an ongoing basis, really comes into play. I mean, for us, I want to deliver the program that they want and that they need.
Thank you. Will there be guest swipes for the students' cards?
I'm sorry, Josie, you were breaking up.
Will there be any guest swipes for the students to use on their cards? I'm guessing when parents or friends come to visit with them, can they take them to the dining hall and use their card to swipe them in?
From an all access point, or
I'm not sure. This was just just a short, any guest swipes for the students. So I think are you able to use your card to have more than one swipe on, I guess, when you're walking in to the dining hall for a meal? Could you possibly use it for you and your friend who was visiting, who was not a student?
Rachel, if you could clarify. Yeah, that's
Sure, yeah, I can clarify that. So swipes cannot be used. There aren't any guest swipes, but guests can join you in your student in the dining hall. They would just have to pay at the door. So I believe, Adam, it is an $8 charge
yes,
for guests. So that includes parents, friends, anyone who would like to join your student in the dining hall.
Thank you. And sorry, my apologies, Josie. That's where that all access pass, like Rachel said, is all access for that one person. But then those guest passes, it's not the door rate as if you were just publicly walking in, but as a guest of someone, no student, parent, family, friend, it'd be that $8 flat rate.
Thank you for that clarification. I have one here. Are students encouraged to eat food in the dining hall / facilities, or are options available to pack up and take with you outside or into other buildings? Do you need to stay in that dining hall to eat?
We certainly would like you to stay in the dining hall and eat with us, but you don't have to. We certainly understand circumstances change and needs change. So there is a to-go program with our reusable containers. You'd simply ask for that at the register when you come in. You'd fill that up with whatever you'd like in the dining hall. We just ask that you bring it back with you the next time. You don't have to clean it. We'll clean it. We just ask that you bring it back.
All righty. And will there be food options for our Jewish and Muslim students?
So all the chicken that is used in the dining hall that is from Farmer Focus is halal certified. We've worked with Farmer Focus and 4Ps to make sure that that's delivered here multiple times throughout the week, given the volume that both Commons and Sadler goes through. And we are working with a local partner to make one of our lunch options on campus and one of our locations on campus full kosher. Meredith has been a great partner. She works with the Hillel House on Jamestown Road, and we're in final stages of that partnership for the dining program. And there are prepackaged kosher options as well, in addition to Meredith being on campus, and that'll be available in retail and in the dining hall for those students that need it.
Thank you. Wonderful. I think you may have touched on this earlier, but are there any early options for athletes? I'm pretty sure with the dining hall opening at 7, did you have anything earlier? I'm not sure if this person meant earlier than 7, but were there any options for that?
Currently, right now, 7 is the earliest. We do have options available. If there's needs above that, I'd certainly welcome that conversation, and we can see what we can do. Certainly open to discussing that. I haven't had that request earlier than 7 yet, but they can certainly reach out. But 7 is the earliest in those, and that's in both facilities, Sadler and Commons.
Wonderful. I have another allergy question here. I understand the dining halls do not use peanuts and tree nuts in their recipes, but are the dining halls completely nut-free?
The dining halls are nut-free, and we don't use those in any capacity.
Thank you. Sorry, just reviewing. There's quite a bit more on the dining dollars, trying to see if we've got some other things that can be listed here. Is cross-contamination for allergens listed on ingredient lists?
It's cross-contamination listed. So for us, we specifically in True Balance and specifically as it relates to that, we have that station to avoid cross-contamination. So those top 9 allergens aren't in those stations at all, and those stations are specifically separate from the other stations to avoid that cross-contamination piece. They are the equipment specifically for those stations have that lavender, light purple color on the serving utensils, on the pans, on the skillets, on the vessels that are utilized in that station, so that they are cleaned separately. They return to that station and they remain void of any cross-contamination at any time during the process.
Thank you for that clarification. Let's see here. For gluten-free options, approximately how many choices will be available on a daily basis?
I don't have a number specifically off the top of my head, but there will be a number of options from prepackaged gluten-free options to those stations like True Balance that I mentioned that are void of those top 9 allergens. So from entree style to sides to sandwiches and deli-related pieces through desserts, breakfast pastries, breakfast items, those will all be available on a regular basis daily for those that are gluten-free.
All righty. This is a good one. What does the marketplace serve?
Marketplace right now has a burger and fries studio in it. It will have full salad bar, soup, and pasta, in addition to the deli. And we're working on right now our partner in Bento Sushi to not just offer sushi, but to also bring in their poke bowls, noodle bowls, ramen, and such.
Sounds delicious. Do you know that we will have Passover food items available for the spring?
For the spring, we're going to work with Meredith and we'll work with Student Affairs to make sure that we have accommodations made for those students at that time.
Will there be dairy-free options, not necessarily vegan?
There will be dairy-free options. Specifically, I know if you're have a dairy allergy or a dairy restriction, it doesn't mean you want to be vegan. So we will have those specifically. And if those are if there's things that specific student is looking for or asking for, I'd love to be able to connect with that. Sometimes that can be specific, and we want to make sure we're supporting in the best way possible.
Thank you. Rachel, it looks like we have quite a few with, if a student doesn't have a meal plan, can they pay out of pocket at the door? How much would that cost? If you're bringing a guest, how does that go? Since there are no guest swipes, how much would that cost? And is there a difference between breakfast, lunch, and dinner prices?
Sure. So, if your student does not have a meal plan, which if they are an incoming, if they are living in a residence hall on campus, they are required to have a meal plan. So depending on their academic year, they may have already been automatically enrolled in their relevant meal plan. If they are not a freshman or sophomore incoming student and are an upperclassman, they have a choice of a few different meal plans. And they can go online and make their selection. Again, at that wm.edu/meal plans page, you can see all of the available options. And then there's a button to a portal where it's manage your meal plan, where they will be able to go in and see their swipes, their dining dollar allocations as well throughout the semester. It is $8 for guests to buy a meal at the door. Your student is absolutely more than welcome to buy meals at the door as well if they're not on a meal plan. But throughout the year, if they're going to be going pretty frequently, it is more cost effective for them to enroll in a meal plan and get those extra benefits as well. I think I hit all points of that question. But yeah.
Thank you. And then just a quick follow-up. Do you know if there is a detailed record sent to the students or something they can access to show dining dollars spent / swipes used?
So it is not, to my knowledge, a record that is sent out to them periodically, but it should be available in that Manage My Meal Plan portal. They should be able to see how many swipes and how many dining dollars they have left there.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Adam, another food question here. Is it possible to have seafood or plant-based protein options every day?
Yes.
Great. Love that.
We'll have those plant-based options. We'll have seafood options. That certainly will be available both throughout retail and residential dining. I will say at times you may need to ask chef for that or our culinary team for that. But mostly those will be available on the line as needed. So, but certainly welcome, if a student or specific person needs or has questions on that, we can certainly support. Absolutely.
Wonderful. And can you provide some information more about the farmers market? Like when it's available, how students would pay, their hours? Do you have any information for them yet on that?
I believe it's so throughout the year in peak times, it's every Saturday, just here on the other side of Merchant Square. I believe 8 a.m. to noon or 1 p.m. I'd need to double check that. But it's every Saturday through the fall. At a certain point, based on seasonality, it moves to once a month and not every Saturday, just based on product availability and local farmers and those types of things. When students come into one of the 2 C stores, convenience stores, either Student Exchange or the Tribe Market over at Commons, they would simply purchase those at the register. There's tokens that then can get redeemed at any merchant as part of the farmers market. And then that way, the farmers market invoices me for that. We pay the farmers. And the students don't have to worry about all that on the back end, but it allows them to use their dining dollars at the farmers market.
Awesome. And this is regarding market, but marketplace and dining dollars. Is marketplace only for dining dollars or can you use your swipe there?
It is only for dining dollars. Yes.
Let's see. So many awesome questions. So many of them are very similar. So we are, again, trying to make sure that we're gathering everybody's in there. And again, if your question is not getting touched on, to please reach out, and all of those many avenues we have for questions later on. We have about, a little over 5 minutes left in this. So we're gonna try and get to as many as we can. Let's see here. Oh, for incoming student athletes with tight schedules to get from class to daily training, are there grab and go meal options?
There are, I would say, grab and go meals, even if you're coming into the dining hall and that all access plan, there's those green to go reusable containers. You can certainly grab and go from that standpoint. Retail also has options, both prepackaged and ready to eat meals available in retail throughout campus. If they're running into maybe some specific challenges, I'd have them reach out to either the wellness manager or myself, and we can work to accommodate that based on their needs and their schedule as it relates. We want them to have the benefit of the meal plan in addition to having enough time to make it practice, training, whatever that may be.
Right, that's good to know. So this individual, it says, is there a site where they can see all the dining options listed along with all of everybody's things and see locations and menus with the hours, all of that in one place? I know that you listed here earlier the dining hall with the hours, but can you see hours and menus all together in one place?
That's on the and I'll pull up that QR code again, so you can view those locations, hours, and menus all in one place.
Great, thank you. Rachel, discount to pricing for food items is associated with Dining Dollars. Is there a discount? Do you know?
I believe that purchases made with Dining Dollars are tax free. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Adam.
You are correct.
I'm correct.
So food items
food
made with
items.
Dining Dollars, yes, are tax free.
All righty. How many days in advance can you view menus? And can you see the menu for the week at any given dining hall or all of them?
Yes, but generally a week in advance.
Week.
We'd like to have 10 to 14 days up. One of the things with working with such local providers, we also want to make sure that they're accurate. We don't change those too often. So I would say absolutely a week. We'd like to be 2 weeks out, but I would tune back in on a regular basis if that's something that you really need to, just to make sure that it hasn't been updated or changed, because sometimes it will, based on local providers.
Cool. You spoke to the food truck situation earlier in this. Someone would like to know, will any of the food trucks offer gluten-free? I'm not sure if you could answer that or not. I'm not sure if that's even something in the future we could do, except talk to the food trucks directly.
Some of the food trucks that we've targeted will have some gluten-free options. One that we have, one of the first ones we decided to bring on campus was our Bumbling Bee vegan food truck. She'll be on campus. We actually are going through a site review on Monday with her. She's going to have one of her trucks on a regular basis. She was featured on Shark Tank not too long ago, and it's had some great success with her program. But overall, when we looked at the food truck program and our local partners, we wanted to make sure we got a variety that hit on those key demographics as well: gluten-free, the vegans, anybody with an allergen, so that they can participate and see the value in that as well.
Awesome. I have one that says to please confirm meal plan start dates as 8/24, the move-in date, because I think they're saying that on the question and answer page, it states effective date is 8/25 to 12/20. Do you know if it's starting up on the 24th or the 25th?
I will go back and confirm that with Rachel, and then we can post that.
Thank you.
We'll double check those dates.
Okay. I think we have covered, I can't believe it, but I think we've covered almost every question we've had come over here. And that's wonderful for a Family Friday webinar, because that's just unheard of. So Adam, thank you. Rachel, thank you for all of the information you guys have shared today. And I'm sure there'll be more questions to come as we close out, and parents, again, you have plenty of resources to get those. And if all you do not and cannot find access to any of those resources, you can always reach out to the Dean of Students office and we can get you into the right direction there. Again, this will be posted on YouTube, we hope by Monday, but most of the time it's Tuesday. And we can also, there will be a link in our newsletter that goes out. So again, thank you to everyone for joining us today. We had quite a crew. We had over 150 folks attending today. So thank you again to Adam and Rachel for fielding all of those questions. So did you guys want to say goodbye before I ended our session?
I certainly appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity. And if there are questions outside of this, you have the email, please reach out to us. I'd love to engage and make sure that you and your students are getting everything out of the dining program that they want.
Yes, thank you so much. And we're looking forward to the year ahead.
Have a great time, everyone, and we will see you in just a couple weeks. Bye.